Are you currently sedentary and kind of confused as to where to start when it comes to getting fit and healthy? You've probably seen a bunch of conflicting information on the internet, calorie counting, lifting weights, meal prep, walking, meal planning. It all feels like so much, and you're just not sure where to get started. Today, I'm going to share a step-by-step roadmap to help beginners get started with getting healthy and getting in shape. Welcome to the Fit and Fulfilled Show. If you're a busy professional woman who wants to finally prioritize your health and happiness, this is the place to be. I'm your host, Soraya Russell, certified macronutrition coach, mindset coach, and lifestyle transformation coach. And each week, I share practical strategies to help you build sustainable habits, boost your energy, become obsessed with what you see when you look in the mirror, and feel confident and strong in your body, all without feeling stressed, burned out, or guilty. Let's dive in. So we work with a range of clients. Some come to us already having worked out consistently, but just needing help with the nutrition component. Then we have some clients who come to us and they're like, Sarai, I'm very sedentary right now. When I tried to do a workout class recently, I couldn't keep up. And so I want to actually get active and more mobile as well as optimizing my nutrition. And so if that's you, you're someone who's like, I just don't know where to start with getting in shape. Maybe you have knee pain, back pain, arthritis, and you know that getting active will help you reduce some of that pain, but you just don't know how to do it in a way that's not going to further irritate your knees and your back and hurt your body more. I would explain what you should do in a way that's going to help you alleviate that pain and slowly build strength over time. First, I want to talk about the mindset component of all of this because if you're starting from zero, starting from scratch, it can feel very overwhelming and daunting. And it can feel like, am I ever going to be able to really be able to be active and mobile? And the first thing I want you to know is you don't have to change your entire life to get in shape. Some people see people on the internet, TikTok, Instagram, who are lifting crazy weights, walking 20,000 steps a day, and you think that's what you need to do to get in shape. And it's not. I always tell clients you want to start with where you are and slowly build yourself up. You don't have to change a million things at once to start getting in shape. And you want to focus on progress versus perfection. You're not going to get there overnight, but if you can just get 1% better every week and every day, you're going to get to your final destination. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about unintentional movement that you do every single day. We're not even getting into walking, lifting weights, none of that. We're going to start with something called NEAT. NEAT, N-E-A-T. This stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. NEAT is basically what happens when you're doing activities that aren't considered a traditional workout. So walking up the stairs, walking around your home, gardening, walking around the mall. These are forms of movement that do burn calories, but they just don't feel like formal exercise. But the benefit is when you do these things, they actually are helping you increase your metabolism and burn calories. So even though it's not the traditional, 30, 45-minute workout, increasing your NEAT by just doing more activities on a day-to-day basis will help you start to get active and start to get in shape. So some things I recommend starting with are number one, when you go to the grocery store or any type of store, park further away. This will train your brain to say, okay, when I'm going out to do errands or whatever it is, I'm going to get some steps in. And it becomes normal. You start looking for parking spots in the back of the lot versus the front. So whenever I go to the grocery store, I purposely park in the back to get more steps in, doing something that I already would have done anyway. The second thing I'll do is if I'm calling a friend, a family member, so whenever I catch up with my mom, I'll go on a walk while talking on the phone with her. I have to talk on the phone with her anyway, not have to. I love talking to my mom, but I'm going to call her anyway. Why not talk to her while I'm walking? And if you're very sedentary right now, walking can feel like, you get out of breath very quickly. Walk slow. Don't rush it. The point is just to get a little active doing something that you already would have done in the first place. Another thing you can do is take the stairs sometimes instead of taking the elevator. So if something is only 1 to 2 floors up, practice taking the stairs. If your knees are not really strong right now, this can feel really daunting. You might be scared to do it. But if you're just doing one flight of stairs, I promise you can start there. If it's any more than that, don't worry, take the elevator. But just practicing taking stairs here and there will help you slowly increase the strength in your knees and get your brain used to taking stairs over the elevator when that option is available. These tiny things, while they might seem small, add up over time. Like if you go out 3 times this week and each time you park in the back of the parking lot, that's a lot of steps. If 3 times this week you take the stairs up one level versus taking the elevator, That adds up. If you are talking to family members, friends, maybe twice this week, that could be a 30-minute walk you're getting in doing something you already have to do. So don't underestimate these things. I want you to start implementing them as soon as possible because they don't really take a lot of planning. It's just remembering, oh, going to the store, Soraya said park in the back of the parking lot, just try it out. So now let's get into more formal forms of movement. The first is walking, and I want you to hear me really clearly when I say this. Some people think walking is like the pre-workout or the post-workout. But when you're a beginner, when you're very sedentary, walking can be a workout by itself. You don't have to add anything else. You can just do walking. So a lot of our clients who come to us very sedentary, not very active, we just start with walking for like a month before we add anything else because that helps them build their stamina, their confidence before we start adding in other things that require, dumbbells or whatever it might be. So make walking the first type of movement you focus on. It doesn't require a gym, doesn't require equipment, doesn't require you going somewhere where you feel self-conscious and not sure what to do. And all you got to do is walk outside. And also, depending on when you're listening to this episode, the weather is pretty nice. So it's a great time to get outside and get active. So what you want to do is before you actually start just trying to walk a bunch every day, I want you to take either a smartwatch or an app on your phone. And just for a week, don't do anything different and just track to see how many steps you're getting in when you live your normal life. Track every single day, and you don't have to do anything. You just wear the watch and you can see the numbers, or if you have an app on your phone, it'll show you every day. At the end of a week, you want to see, okay, how many steps am I averaging each day? Say that number is 2,000. What you want to do is just increase this average each week by 1,000. We're not going from 0 to 100. We're just going from 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 3,000. So if you find that your average is about 2,000 steps, next week I want you to aim to get 3,000 in. So if you don't really exercise right now, that can just be adding a 15-minute walk once a day at lunch, right, for a week. That's pretty simple and easy to do. You see, okay, now I'm averaging 3,000 steps. This is awesome. Now the week after, try to do a 30-minute walk each day at lunch. And so you're gradually working your way up to it, slowly increasing the strength in your body, your stamina, to be able to get more steps in. Now, the final goal is you should be averaging 7,000 steps a day. This could take a month or two to get there, and that's okay. We want to start where we are and slowly work our way up to it so it doesn't feel overwhelming and we don't burn out. So, for example, we had a client who was 56, an educator, and she had a lot of knee pain and she hated the stairs with all her heart. And when she came to us, her biggest thing was like, yeah, I want to lose weight, but I also want to get some weight off of my knees. Like, I want to be able to walk without being in so much pain. And so this particular client, we didn't start with strength training or any of that. We simply started with adjusting her nutrition and walking. So when she first came to us, she was only walking about 1,000 steps a day. And so anything above that felt really strenuous for her. So we created a slow walking ramp up plan. Each week she was increasing walking gradually. By the end of 3 months, she was down 15 pounds at 56 years old. She now takes the stairs intentionally versus taking the elevator. She actually feels stronger and more confident, and now she actually is lifting weights as well because she built up the strength and confidence. So she lifts weights at home with just a couple pairs of dumbbells. She walks about 7,000 steps a day. She doesn't have any knee pain anymore, all because she slowly ramped up to walking and building things in versus trying to go from 0 to 100. And she actually told us that she has never felt this like at home in her body as far as getting around and doing things with ease since she was in her 30s. And so when it comes to getting in shape, when you are someone who's been sedentary for a very long time, you don't want to listen to people who tell you, well, you just got to start strength training 3 times a week and walking 7,000 steps a day. Because if you're very sedentary and you have a knee pain, that's going to make it worse. You could injure yourself. We're really big on meeting our clients where they are and slowly working up to their goals over time. The next thing you want to do, which you only want to implement after you're averaging 7,000 steps. So if you're following the walking ramp up plan, it takes you 2 months to get to 7,000 steps. Cool. You're going to see some results before then. Now, when you're hitting 7,000 steps every day on average, you want to add in body weight strength training. We want to do something that's going to feel a bit easier than trying to go from just walking to lifting like 20-pound dumbbells. So what this could look like is if you're working out at home 3 times a week, if it's leg day, you're doing squats without dumbbells. You're doing lunges without dumbbells. You're doing tricep dips, just like putting your hand on the couch. And so this is a great way to ease into strength training because you're not having to lift dumbbells, you're not having to go to a gym, and you're able to build strength starting from where you are. And you've already built confidence because you've got your steps up from the ramp up plan prior to. So this is what we do with a lot of our clients who are very, very sedentary starting out. We start with walking, we get their steps up. Then we add in body weight strength training. And then once they get comfortable with that, they add in some light weights. So this plan is really great because you're not trying to add a million things at once. You're starting with the thing that's low impact, getting good at that. Then you're adding some things to get stronger. You get good at that. And then you just increase how much you're lifting, not like forever, but until you get to a place where you really feel strong and can do a lot of things independently on your own. Next thing you want to focus on is nutrition, and you want to keep it super simple. Like for our clients who are very new to this, we don't like to overcomplicate it. So I'll share more about this in a bit. But the thing I want you to keep in mind is you want to focus on having 3 meals a day and 1 to 2 snacks, and these should be planned things. What I see with a lot of people or a lot of women who come to work with us prior to, they're like, yeah, I barely eat, so I'm not really sure why I'm struggling with my weight. But when we really look at what they're eating, they're skipping breakfast, they're having coffee, maybe that's their breakfast. Maybe they have a protein bar in the afternoon, maybe they have a quick thing for lunch. They probably have a more proper dinner, and maybe it's healthy, maybe it's not. And then in the evening, they're snacking on things, whether it's crackers, cookies, chips, ice cream. So in theory, it doesn't feel like they're eating a lot because they're not eating 3 standard meals, but because a lot of things they're eating are snacks or quick foods, they're higher in calories. And so it really still adds up throughout the day. So if you want to start getting on track with your nutrition, you don't have to do a bunch of crazy meal prep and meal planning. Just focus on eating 3 meals and 1 to 2 snacks. Because if you're eating actual meals with protein, fat, and carbs, it's way less likely it's going to be super high in calories. Whereas if you're just snacking, some of these snacks, they're small, but they'll be like 500 calories for one package. But if you're having a more nutrient dense meal, it's way less likely it's going to be that high in calories. And it'll help you stay full throughout the day so you're not over snacking in the evening. And each meal you want to focus on following the plate rule, which is just half the plate being veggies and or fruits, a fourth being lean protein, and a fourth being carbs. So what this could look like, for example, is if you like turkey sandwiches, the bread is the carbs, the turkey is the protein, the vegetables of choice are the vegetables. If you're having breakfast, you could have pancakes as your carb. You could have eggs or sausage as your protein. You could have fruit as your fruit or vegetable. So just taking this and keeping it in mind for your meals, and that way you're structuring things in a way where you're still eating things that you like, but make sure your plate has a good balance of all the nutrients you need to be successful. And something really cool that our clients have access to is a big stressor for them is food because they're like, okay, I know I need to eat more balanced meals, but I don't know where to start. So we actually created our own AI technology that creates 100% customized meal plans for our clients. So they'll say things like, I want 3 meals a day, 2 snacks. I am allergic to nuts. I have PCOS. I like to have Pro bars as protein bars. I drink coffee in the morning. I'm feeding 2 kids. I like Trinidadian cuisine for dinner. Like a lot of really specific things. And then our AI meal planning technology will make a fully personalized meal plan based on how many days they want to eat the same thing, if they do or don't want leftovers, allergies, health conditions, food choices, specific branded snacks that they like. And that way they don't have to do any meal planning. The meal plan's made for them. It's everything they like, things they already have in their house. They make their food, they eat it, they feel great, they lose weight. Like literally, oh, that sounds like a nice slogan. They lose weight, they feel great. I really like that. I might use it again. But we make it really easy because when our clients are new to exercise or nutrition, they don't need to track macros and do all this complicated calculations. They need something simple and that actually is sustainable for them. So that's a big perk of our program that our clients love is how much we make meal planning and meal preparation really easy for them and their family while still enjoying all their favorite foods. So if you implement the things we talked about as far as easing into everything with walking and then body weights and then adding weights after that and then making simple changes to your nutrition, it'll be much easier to get started with weight loss without it feeling so overwhelming. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Fit and Fulfilled show today. Hope you walked away with practical strategies you can start using to get in shape, get healthy, and get fit without feeling overwhelmed. And if you found this helpful, I ask that you please subscribe and share it with a friend that you think would find it helpful as well. And if you want to lose 20 to 50 pounds and keep it off by making sustainable lifestyle changes and without cutting out your favorite foods, I would love to invite you to apply for our coaching program, the Fit and Fulfilled Academy. In the Academy, we help busy professional women like you achieve lasting weight loss by providing the coaching, support, and guidance you need with nutrition, fitness, and mindset. All the details are down below. Next week, we're diving into a brand new topic that you're not going to want to miss. But until then, remember, you deserve to feel as confident in your body as you do in your career. Take care.